Hello, I'm Adam Weller from Downforce TV and Radio, and this is our top 3 Project Cars DLCs released as of November 2015. Project Cars is the best console racing simulator in 2015 for many reasons, including its stunning physics and graphics. DLC has been coming out every month since release, treating players to dozens of new cars and tracks. With Christmas season approaching, Project Cars is a must-have on your list if you don't already own it. Once you purchase the base game, you may want to splash out on the extra cars and tracks. While every DLC is a good purchase, these are the best 3 packs released so far, based on our personal opinion, cost, variety, and the quality of the content itself. Number 3, Premium Car Pack. At number 3 we have this pack, which came out alongside the game on release day. The pack features a mix of incredible cars from all disciplines and eras of motorsport, as well as one of the most iconic road-going hypercars of all time, the McLaren F1, which is just as fun to drive as you'd think. While the McLaren has plenty of competition in the Road B category, every other car had no competition at the time of release. The BMW M1 Pro car is a very smooth and easy car to drive, and lapping slightly slower than GT3 machinery allows for the occasional giant-killing performance if you race in a multi-class GT event. While the M1 is obviously best known for its One Make series, it would be good to have some other Group 4 cars to compete with in a future DLC. The Sauber C9 ticks the box for everything you would expect from Group C: power, speed, and a hairy driving experience. While it is great to have a Group C machine in the game, it could certainly do with some more company in the near future. The 1967 Mark IV Ford GT40 is another wonderful car that suffers from the same issue. It may sound particularly ungrateful to say that 160's Le Mans Special isn't enough, but after racing in a GT3 field with 8 manufacturers represented on the same game, a class of 1 feels highly inconsistent. The GT40 has since gained some company, but more on that later. The Mercedes C-Class Coupe DTM suffers from the same issues. However, since there are only 3 models and makes in DTM currently, this is a little more excusable. Hopefully Slightly Mad Studios can upgrade their already extensive list of Audi and BMW vehicles to include the rest of the DTM field in the near future. Despite the issue of a lack of competition for each car, this pack is still worth getting due to its relatively low price tag of $399 and the unique, fun driving experiences to be had in each machine. Number 2, Racing Icons Pack. At £2.85, the Racing Icons Pack is one of the cheapest packs to have been released so far for the game. It is also one of the best thanks to the inclusion of 2 new categories, 1 new manufacturer and, as the title suggests, 5 icons of motorsports past and present. Firstly, we have the addition of the Bentley Continental to the game's already extensive roster of GT3 cars. While the car is slightly tail-happy on its base setup, some slight tweaking of the settings can make this car come alive and prove itself to be one of the most competitive GT3 cars on the game. From a personal standpoint, it is also one of the best-looking GT3 cars. The Continental is also joined by manufacturer stablemate and 2003 Le Mans winner, the Bentley Speed 8. While it competed at Le Mans as an LMGTP car before closed cockpit designs were allowed back into the top ACO prototype class, Slightly Mad Studios has opted to put this car into the LMP 900 category in order to give it some competition. Competition for the Bentley comes in the form of the BMW V12 LMR, which competed at the world's most famous endurance race in 1999 before the manufacturer opted to join Formula 1 in 2000 with Williams, who were also involved in the design of this car. Both LMP 900 machines are stable and competitive out of the box, and have received further competition in the form of a 2002 Audi R8 since their initial release. GT1 cars are also added to the fray thanks to the addition of the Mercedes CLK LM and the McLaren F1 GTR Longtail. The Mercedes is easier to drive out of the box, while the McLaren is a slightly more difficult driving experience at first. This can be fixed with a good setup, and while the Mercedes is a little faster as it was in real life, both cars make a welcome and enjoyable addition to the game. Unfortunately, I am by no means unbiased towards 90s GT machinery, but to me, these are 2 of the greatest racing machines of that decade, and therefore this pack is worth £2.85 for before you even consider the offerings from BMW and Bentley. Number 1. Lotus Classic. When the Lotus Classic pack was released, a few questions were asked by players. We already had a plentiful collection of historic racing cars from Classic Team Lotus at launch, so did we really need more? Yes, we did. We definitely needed the Lotus 25 Climax and the Lotus 51 Formula Ford. I didn't even know how much I needed the Lotus 40 sports car until this pack was released. And a Classic pack wouldn't be complete without classic tracks. The addition of the legendary Ruin circuit alongside classic versions of Silverstone and Hockenheim makes this pack well worth the admittedly rather steep £6.19 price tag. Each circuit makes a wonderful addition to the already stellar collection of circuits present and make for good fun in both historic and modern machinery. Of course, none of the cars in the pack are particularly easy to drive except the entry-level Formula Ford, so if fighting a car isn't for you, maybe this pack isn't the best investment. However, if you have a desire to learn, Slightly Mad were kind enough to release the Lotus 49C Cosworth free of charge, so you could use that car to become a master of historic racing before taking on the automobiles and autodromes of days past. The aforementioned Lotus 40 is the pick of the pack here, with fun, well-weighted steering combined with the power to help you hit over 190 miles per hour at certain points. This car is under the same historic GT1 classification as the Ford GT40 Mark IV, meaning you can have an authentic 60s sports car race at the circuits they once duelled at in yesteryear. Honourable mentions go out to several packs. Firstly, the Japanese car pack. While it has the most cars of any pack released so far, 5 of them are based off the Toyota 86. The GT4 Rocket Bunny variant is one of the best cars to drive on the game, but the sheer quantity of its cousins does ultimately feel like filler. Of course, the inclusion of 2 Mitsubishi Evos and the 2014 Toyota TS040 LMP1 car make this pack a worthy purchase if you are particularly drawn to those cars. The Audi Raw Pana and Aston Martin packs were tough to leave out. However, the beautiful 2009 DBR12 and 1959 DBR1 300 are the only 2 cars in the Aston pack worth purchase in my opinion. While the V8 Vantage GTE is a good car, it is broadly similar to the V12 GT3 that's already present in the game. This is not helped by the GTE version being added to the GT3 class. If it, the already present BMW M3 GT, and maybe some other GTE cars added later on could be put into their own class, it would certainly validate the presence of both vehicles that little bit more. The Mojave track is certainly great fun, but doesn't serve much purpose in the game apart from the occasional free roaming session. As for the Audi Raw Pana pack, while the 2002 R8, 2014 R18 and Audi 90 Quattro are all excellent machines, and Raw Pana is an interesting little circuit, the overall package doesn't deliver a punch strong enough for a top 3 rating. However, this is just our opinion. If you feel differently, let us know in the comments section or via our Facebook, YouTube and other social media platforms. If you don't already own Project Cars, make sure it's in your stocking later this month. With more content on its way for the already superb title, including NASCAR, IndyCar, V8 Supercars and Formula Renault 3.5, it is a true must-have for any petrolheads. I'm Adam Weller and this is Downforce Radio and TV. Subscribe and we'll see you next time.